I'm excited to be here. Chris is a high school friend, so I knew him back when we were in high school, and he called me about 2 weeks ago, and he said, Chris, you were horrible in high school. I need you to come and speak to parents or those that want to listen and explain that I guess there's more than, like he said, math and algebra and French and all those fun courses. So we went to high school together. I never excelled in school. I didn't like school, didn't enjoy it. There was no reason for me to really go, except for sports. Our school didn't dedicate too much time or effort into getting kids, high school kids, into the arts. It's something I sort of picked up at a later age. But now that I have 3 young kids that are so immersed in the culture, it's completely different. Now like at 8 years old, my son's editing videos. And not because I'm pushing it upon him, it's because the people in his school are talking about it, and it's like a passion that he had inside him that sort of needed to get ignited. So now that I'm a parent and it's like the opposite role, I'm the opposite. Like, if they want to get into it, let's give them everything they require in order to give them that opportunity. What we viewed in this school today, I'm not from this area. I live in Etobicoke. But I hope one day when my kids are at that age that they have the opportunity to use, studio like this, equipment like this. I might start dancing. This is good. Good timing. Is this part of it? No problem. No problem.
We might be able to turn it off.
So yes, sports when I was in high school was my motivation. I loved sports. I was good at sports. That was the reason that I woke up in the morning and went to school. Going into high school, I was in an ESL class. I didn't want to learn. I couldn't read well. I didn't enjoy. I was very shy and timid. But getting into high school and excelling in sports was my sort of opening of a door, I guess, to find myself. Now looking back, everybody here has been in high school. To me, that's when I found myself, and that's when I found my love for entrepreneurship as well. I guess the real reason Chris brought me here is arts has been my passion for as long as I can remember. Photography is something I do on a daily basis. Nobody tells me to do it. It's the way that I can let myself out and just I enjoy doing it. But now with video and editing, there's just so many opportunities to make a profit and actually build a career through alternative arts like video and editing. My clients, it sounds bad. We have 3 stores, but I guess my bragging rights are like we're the biggest web development company in North America. So when I meet people, I don't tell them my company name. If I'm in Utah doing a meeting, nice to meet you, I said, simply Google the best web developer. And whoever's first, that's my company name. So we're building over 1,000 sites a year. Tim Hortons, Samsung, TD, there's 33 employees. Ming is one gentleman holding the camera. What we pride ourselves on, everybody that we hire is an artist. So what people don't realize is a logo designer that builds the big brands that we drive by when we're driving down the street. Those are artists. They start with a pencil and a paper. And we understand arts is not for everyone, but what we want to do as parents is give the children the opportunity to choose. We need to give them the environment that they can learn, and then some will excel. Some will take it and it will become a career. But as parents, the worst thing we can do is not give our kids that opportunity, that choice, even at a young age. Because as Chris mentioned, my parents, they're still upset at what I've chosen to do in life. My dad was a mailman. I'll show him this video, and he wanted me to go the route of 9 to 5, right? Last year, we did over $5 million in sales, and I'll call Chris. Like last year, I did 53 countries I visited. Every dream I've ever had. Last week, I went to Egypt to touch a pyramid. There's no dream in the world. I came back from Brooklyn like 3 hours ago because I went for a couple days to see an art gallery, and I'm running my business, with phone and internet, I can run my business. But literally, and I tell my kids this, that there's nothing in the world that you can't do. And I know it sounds like repetitive and everybody hears it, but I have to pinch myself sometimes because in high school, I thought I was going to be a failure. Everybody went that route of study, get your A grades. And the best part is my high school teacher is actually one of my clients now. He came by last Thursday, and Chris knows who he was, and he won't stop bragging. He's like, Chris, you were horrible in school, and now you're like running this business. So I mean, as parents, you know, embrace your kids. I know we're in school, so we have to promote how important school is, and it is important. But because their grades are not as high as you'd like, it doesn't mean that they cannot be successful. I guess that's my little speech. If anybody has any specific questions, I'd love to answer them. Help me out. Somebody have a question? Yes.
You kind of touched upon like that fear.
Yes.
Like the arts, it's kind of like the unknown. Like there's more risk.
Yes.
But I guess what can you say to parents, like to kind of encourage their kids to still explore the arts?
Yes.
But I guess be realistic about still doing well.
Yeah, it's tough. To me, there's no risk. Like literally, there's no risk. Just do it. Like with anything in life, you're never going to be good at the first opportunity. But I mean, how do you encourage it? Put a camera in front of your child and see what they do with it. You know, get them in an after-school program, or get them around somebody
Class is going to begin.
that can teach them.
Must be in their
And
period
see-
3 class.
yeah.
Class is going to begin. Thank you.
And see how they do. You know what I mean? Like arts is so broad. It could be photography, it could be videography, it could be editing, it could be sketching, illustration. There's just so many opportunities. But we just can't be closed-minded. It's 2018, not 1988. Right? You should be proud if your child of 12 years old says, Mom, Dad, I want to do a YouTube channel. You should be like, yes, let's do it. Research the people that are doing something well, take it on as a project. And of course, as parents, we still have to make sure they're doing the right thing. We have to monitor what they're doing. But you don't want to tell them what to do. You want to let them use their creativity. And the way I feel is then the rest of their life. Like when you give them an opportunity to succeed, once again, I'm a parent, then you'll see the smile. You'll see if they're enjoying them. Like I'm not somebody that forces something, but at least give them an environment in which they can do something. Like failure, to me, there's no such thing as failure. Not at that age, right? Thank you. Any other questions at all? Yes.
In 1966, when this school was built, electricity was being invented. Now what you have here, and I bugged you a bit on the side, is a school where's the kid from the robotics class? One of the kids was saying that they did really well in a robotics competition. There's a nerd group.
Yes.
There's also, as you saw, there's a music group. This school is at what I would call a tipping point. There's an entrepreneurial opportunity here. The big stations, his big station, my wife's big station, CBC, they can't take interns the way they used to be able to take interns. There's a lot of kids out there who've got talent. I actually met a couple of them who are going to be doing the I'm spinning because I think there's an idea coming out of what you're saying that maybe the parents and community could work on for making this school even a more open place to the community and using those resources that were built here a long time ago. And I'd like maybe your comment on how would you take this on as a business, make this successful? What would you do?
Yeah, well, what you're doing right now is the perfect starting point. You have to, get out in the streets and shout and let people know. I bet you there's people in the community that have no idea what is, we'll call them the basement. So I mean, the first thing is just promote what you have, and then encourage the kids because, one of the children that might go to this school next year are not necessarily coming for the opportunity to use a studio. But when they're here and it's been year 2 and then they're starting to grow as a person, that opportunity is there. Once again, as parents, I think the key is just to allow our kids the freedom to try different things. And without the opportunity or the environment, it's impossible. And I'm not saying you need a professional studio to get started, because I'm a strong believer that you don't need anything to get started. You can, on a $100 cell phone, you can be shooting videos and editing them yourself. So I don't want to make the excuse that you need the studio, but I mean to bring it up to the next level. If this is the school that has all of this, where the other schools do not have, that would be my selling point. To sort of welcome the creative crowd. And then what you'll find in the next year is, instead of just being a music crowd and a nerd crowd and a a jock crowd. You're going to have an artistic crowd, a video editing crowd. And we know this takes time to mature as a community. It's not going to happen overnight, but there has to be that starting point. And I think having the actual location is a great foot in the door. And we, like as parents, all I'm saying is allow your children the opportunity to at least play with the idea, because in 10 years from now, we're not going to be promoting the fact that our kids should be accountants or architects, or there are going to be the few that go that route, but we're talking about multimedia is the key to success. Hopefully I answered your question. Any other questions for me?
Oh, come on.
So what do you,
Sure.
So you said your parents still wait for you to have the career that they think you should have.
Yes.
So what do you think it would take for them? Like, I'm always interested in what is it that we think our parents, and I mean, you know, some of us are parents of young children, some of, you know, we're all very different generations in the room, but you know, we've all sort of wanted our parents' approval, you know, as children growing up. That's kind of what we want. And so what do you think it would take your parents to say, oh my God, you are the most successful guy, and what an amazing career.
It's tough. I can only speak on my parents, and I don't see it happening. It's weird because, you know, growing up you think who has the biggest house, that's successful, or the nicest cars, or travels the most, right? But I mean, as you'll find out as parents, right, your kids are not motivated only to prove you wrong. Most kids are looking for happiness, and that's what I would promote. And who knows, maybe one day my parents will be happy with my decision.
Thanks a lot.
No problem at all.
Fabulous.
Yes, sir.